It's amazing to me that it took 5 whole episodes this season to finally get one where Summer is a main character. We've seen how much potential she has and how much Rick respects her, and this week we get to see more of the how and why. This is a breakdown and review of Season 9 Episode 6 of Rick and Morty, Erickerhead. We begin with Rick burying himself in food at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Now, in the background, I noticed this painting, which is a reference to the famous painting The Gleaners by Jean-Francois Millet. 100% butchered that name. That specific painting was made in 1857 and depicts 3 poor peasant women collecting the leftover scraps of wheat after a harvest. To have Rick here sitting with excess and abundance of food, while this image of poverty and survival sits behind him, really just shows how empty Rick is. The guy has access to pretty much everything, but as we've seen this season, none of that actually feeds him in the way he needs. This painting does sort of play a role in the central conflict that appears later between his head and body. As they leave the place, Rick slogs along like he's drunk. We've seen this far too many times this season, and he starts to rage bait Morty. Now, to anyone who's seen pretty much any piece of fiction, portals are extremely dangerous. Come on, Rick, get out of the portal or he's gonna cut your head off. What I love about this episode's premise is that it gives us a funny and unique, at least by this show standards, take on the fish out of water situation. You see, the portal didn't just cut off Rick's head, it cut off the portal gun too, meaning there's really no easy way out this time for our main characters. Summer gets stranded on the other side of the planet with nothing but Rick's headless body. Could be worse though, since it's pretty much more machine than man at this point. Honestly, come to think of it, when was the first indication that Rick was a full-on cyborg? Back in Look Who's Purging Now, he gets shot in the liver and he doesn't have any of those implants, so it had to happen after that. Although, come to think of it, when he escaped prison, he was regularly swapping bodies with other Ricks. My guess is that the body he ended up with had some cybernetic enhancements that he just started building upon. Let me know down below though if I'm forgetting or missing anything here. Also, while you're down there, leave a like and subscribe. About 85% of you who watch these breakdowns are actually not subscribed. I'm making weekly breakdowns of Season 9 as soon as they come out, and I'm planning on doing a huge Rick character recap and analysis after the season ends. I also make character breakdowns on other shows too, so subscribe, lots of good content coming soon. Anywho, Summer finds herself in the shady part of town, a place where these guys love body parts, and Rick's body happens to be a gold mine because of the amount of tech it has. I love this line.
Whoa, check out that body.
Girl ain't bad either.
Don't be gross. Come on, let's kill her and steal it.
Cheeky commentary that doesn't need further explanation. Summer then shows exactly why she might be Rick's favorite. As she tries to escape, she fends off every single freak by continuously improvising with Rick's cybernetic implants.
Can't stay mad at a
Girl.
This kind of talent.
While Summer's kicking ass and making her way to a rendezvous point, Morty takes Rick's head, which is also somehow alive, to the hospital to refill his neck airbags. Fuck if I know how that's supposed to work. I love that once Rick figures out that the doctor is a freak, he tells Morty to jump out the window. And of course, Morty doesn't, because he's not a cyborg like Rick and would die instantly. So while Morty goes on the run, Summer gets to one of Rick's buddies, who manages to resurrect Rick's body. The way it moves kind of reminds me of those deformed toys from Toy Story. Creepy at first, but ultimately wholesome, just trying to fix other toys from suffering the same fate they did. Rick's body is pretty similar, acting much more friendly and caring towards Summer than Rick ever would. Anyway, like Gearhead did to Rick back in Season 2, this bastard sells Summer out. Another moment showing just how similar she is to Rick. And that similarity continues to show as she escapes with the body, and the two pull off a slick team up in yet another well choreographed fight scene. I also noticed the main guy calls his group Reavers! Could be a reference to the Reavers from X-Men, who also use cybernetic enhancements, though the term Reaver is also just a broad one for violent raiders. I'm sticking with the comic book reference though, since this show loves referencing Marvel. Rick's body then does something Rick would never do. Instead of taking the guy out, it hugs him. Then it does the same to Summer. This matters because later it tells Summer via note,
I overthink. My head gets in the way of telling you I love you. But I'm all heart right now, so you're amazing. Take a gap year in Europe. Believe in yourself. Your parents are stupid.
First off, the cut to the body making a heart sign cracked me up. Second, it reveals that deep down, Rick isn't a bad guy, or at least doesn't want to be. It's his head that gets in the way. Speaking of the head, he gets upgraded by eating a bunch of tech parts. And just as he's about to laser everyone, Morty says,
"No killing people! I'm drawing a line!"
Okay.
But the head explains that as just a brain, he lacks the adrenaline and bloodlust his body might have, which, as we saw earlier, is where all his brutality went. So he lasers everyone, but no actual fatal damage. He then calls the police off and says,
"You just killed our GTA rating!"
That reminds me, anyone excited for GTA 6? Personally,
I don't care.
Then we get a really funny scene.
Everyone said Tenet was bad. It's amazing. Wipe my tears, Morty.
Now, Tenet is a funny one to unpack. I watched it when it first came out, and from what I recall, the reason everyone hated it was because you couldn't understand what the characters were saying half the time. The audio mixing was horrendous on opening day, and from what I'm aware, that got fixed later. At least I think it did. I actually really want to rewatch Tenet because I thought the concept was sick, but I remember walking out thinking Nolan might have just indulged himself one too many times. Let me know what you guys thought of Tenet down below though. Then this hot-ass alien hostess comes in asking the pair for drinks, and you can instantly tell that Morty's entranced by her massive eyes.
Well, if there needs to be a creepy alcoholic... Down, Morty.
That line from Rick's head is great because he's calling Morty a dog, which doubles as a nice callback to last week's episode.
Good boy.
Oh look, it's that guy from Blitz and Chits. And so Rick's head and Rick's body run to each other in this extremely heartwarming
You shut the fuck up, motherfucker!
Essentially, the two found they were so much happier apart that they're now trying to kill each other. Later, Rick's head tells the pair he doesn't have beef with his body and is gonna go a separate way, straight to that other mechanic Summer mentioned earlier, Rachel. And to no one's surprise, Rick's body is there too. Now, I want to draw attention to these lines.
You always fuck everything up. Drinking, sullying relationships, eating late night desserts.
Earlier, Summer said Rick's head treats his body like garbage. We saw this in the opening scene with him overeating and throughout the entire season with his excessive drinking. To me, that's not the body's fault, it's the mind trying to numb the pain it can't otherwise deal with. So in my opinion, Rick's head is projecting here. Rick's body tries to respond, but can't speak. Honestly though, he might as well be saying exactly what I just said. The two fight, and Rick's head tries to pull a Sindel scream, which obviously doesn't work, since the body doesn't even have ears. For someone who's all brain, the guy's a fucking dumbass. Eventually, Rick's body takes the head hostage, and just as he's about to destroy him, the head whispers something, and the two go into a room, alone. When they finally come out after a while, Summer immediately guesses that he sucked himself off. Of course he would. To him, self-love isn't actually anything healthy. This is confirmed moments later when he tells the pair he really hasn't learned anything without explicitly stating that he hasn't. Then we get a quick montage scene of him supposedly taking care of himself. He wakes up Morty just like he did in the very first episode of the show, then does the same with Summer. I actually didn't even notice he trapped Morty in a box my first time through. He trains the three of them for the swimming Olympics. They win bronze, and the main takeaway he wanted the pair to realize is that working hard for something isn't actually worth it. So they head back to that alien planet to enjoy the buffet. So the ending is pretty much,
This confession has meant nothing.
I think this episode mostly showcases Rick refusing to better himself or take care of himself. As I mentioned, the painting we see at the buffet, The Gleaners, is about people surviving off scraps, while Rick is surrounded by excess. That is pretty much the perfect image for Rick this season. He overconsumes, he drinks, he abuses his body, and then when his body finally gets separated from his head, it's somehow the body that becomes more loving, gentle, and honest. I mean, just think about it. That sounds insane, because you'd think Rick's brain would be the part of him with the most clarity.
I'm the smartest living thing in the carbon-based unisphere.
But no, his head is the thing rationalizing all the damage. His head is the thing projecting blame. Remember what that creepy fear hole guy said to Morty?
You're dumb. That's why you're not scared to be happy. The smarter you are, the more you know. Happiness is a trap.
Now this conflict between the mind and body also calls back to the Toxic Rick episode, where Rick realizes that toxicity is relative. To him, love or irrational attachment is what he deems toxic. It's the same concept here, except the show is now being more specific, saying that deep down, he's capable of genuine love, but his head keeps stopping him. Because the last time he had an irrational attachment... This is even echoed in Season 8's finale, where they discuss the power of memory and what it can do to you. In Rick's case, ironically, mind definitely over matter. Now, again, I'll reiterate what I've been saying this season. I'm loving the episodes and the underlying themes, but it's starting to feel very repetitive. How many times are we going to get the same lesson that Rick is a self-loathing bastard who needs help? Unless the show is going the route where Rick ends himself at the finale, where does his story actually go from here? I don't know, but I need an insane subversion. Other than that, I was really happy to see Summer get to be one of the main characters again, further prove that she might have the most potential out of anyone in the family. Rick even said in an earlier episode,
I treat you like an equal because I respect you. You remind me of your grandmother.
What's also interesting is that Summer doesn't just survive with Rick's body, she arguably uses it better than Rick does. Rick abuses his body, Summer adapts to it. She doesn't have his intelligence, but she has his confidence, instincts, and knows how to improvise. Oh yeah, that ending credit scene was amazing too. This season continues to reference Rick's love for Bugs Bunny in the dumbest and funniest ways imaginable. Overall, I did enjoy the episode, but I'm still worried about the repetitive themes surrounding Rick. If you're new around here, please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed. Sorry if this was another short one this week. Some episodes have a lot to unpack, like the first two of the season, and some simply don't. So if it feels like I'm summarizing a lot, that's why. Although I'm doing my best to analyze and unpack anything of note. I also don't want to just be the type to point at everything and say, oh, I get that reference, without actually answering the question, so what? But as you can see from this video, I'll do that too here and there. And I would like to say I am sincerely grateful for those continuously tuning in every week. Doing these is honestly a lot of fun, and I hope you'll continue to watch my content. If you want to support me further, follow all my socials, join my Patreon, and consider grabbing my book, The Shattered Absolution, heavily inspired by the shows I cover. And I want to thank you once again for watching.